Joining us now, former BYU linebacker, NFL guy, Bryan Kehl, back on BYU Sports Nation. Bryan, this is the 2-week period where all of the preseason award watch lists come out. You were on more than a few of those, and today we find out about the Lombardi Trophy watch list. Remington Peck, Bronson Kafusi, Alani Fua, all on that list. Do you buy into these preseason award watch lists? And if so, what do you read into those?
You know, the preseason it's just one of those things. I personally think it's more about, well, we don't have much to talk about, so let's create something to talk about than anything else. Because a lot of times there's some guys on the list that are just jokers. But I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's just the postseason that is all that matters. You know, who plays well and has a chance to win those things at the end. But as far as our guys getting on the list, I mean, it's definitely a great privilege and an accomplishment. And you'd definitely rather be on the list than not on the list. I'll say that much.
Did that mean something to you? Was it validating in a way when you were on, say, the Butkus watch list for best linebacker?
Yeah, you know, it's always nice to be noticed. It's always nice to be recognized. And you know, if anything, you take that and then you say, okay, well, let me go win that now. And as far as BYU, trying to think, was Staley the last guy that has won
Yes.
an individual award like that?
Yes, 13 seasons ago, Doak Walker, best running back.
Yeah, so it's been a while. In the locker room, there's like these kind of trophy case set up, and there's all these jerseys. There's a jersey and a helmet, and it goes through the years, and it has like Jim McMahon and Steve Young and Ty Detmer, you know, and all the guys that have won those individual awards, and then I think Luke is the next one, and then there's an empty case, and it's like, okay, who's going to be next? So maybe this year,
I love it.
That'd be nice.
Bryan Kehl,
Bryan
Kehl joining us on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, let's move away from the preseason award watch list and talk about what we do know, and specifically the linebacking core at BYU with guys like Bronson Kafusi and Alani Fua. They're your outside backers. Bryan, have you ever heard of a football team that has 6'8" and 6'5" on the edge? Not in the NFL? I mean,
even in the NFL, I mean, I don't know of any 6'8" linebacker in the league. So, yeah, they are one of a kind, that's for sure.
Is that something that you think Bronson Kafusi could overcome, which has become the first 6'8" linebacker in the NFL?
I think he could. I think if he stays at that weight, I definitely think he could. I personally see him, and I mean, it's all what team takes him, but I personally think that his best position in the NFL, that is a 4-3 defensive end. I personally think. And you know, a lot of people get confused by that. They think, well, he just moved from defensive end. But a 3-4 defensive end that BYU employs is extremely different, and the role is completely different. But he's definitely a pass rusher. He definitely has great athleticism and ability, and so if you add that length into it, I mean, he could be special. And guys in the league, you know, another basketball player who's obviously one of the best in the league, but Julius Peppers. Yeah. And I think Bronson has an inch or two on him. I think Julius Peppers either 6'6" or 6'7". But yeah. So actually, that makes me think, because Julius Peppers just moved to Green Bay this year to play outside linebacker. So he's probably the closest in height and outside linebacker in the NFL. But he's still not as tall as Bronson.
Bryan, explain the difference in the 4-3 and 3-4 defensive end, because one is basically Ziggy, and then one could be what Bronson could do, which is play linebacker but still line up and rush the quarterback and blitz.
Yeah, so it's extremely different. A 3-4 defensive end is really just a defensive tackle. They call them a defensive end. That's just the name of it, but it's really just a defensive tackle. And they line up on the guard, anywhere from the outside shade of the guard or head up on the guard to inside shade of the offensive tackle. And that's, you know, their roles and their responsibilities are similar to a defensive tackle in a 4-3. Now, pass rushers, I mean, that's obviously the premium position on the defense. It's all about disrupting the quarterback. And so pass rushers are either 3-4 outside linebackers or 4-3 defensive ends. And their roles are very similar. I mean, their biggest responsibility is to get after the quarterback. The difference is 3-4 outside linebackers are also asked to drop into coverage from time to time, which is something that 4-3 defensive ends really don't do. So that's probably the main difference. But their biggest responsibility is just getting after the quarterback, pass rushing. Former
BYU linebacker Bryan Kehl joining us on BYU Sports Nation. We're talking about the BYU linebacking core approaching the 2014 season. And Bryan, I want to know this. We've asked a bunch of our guests recently, what is the one position group that defines BYU right now? I'm guessing that you're going to go with the linebackers, but if you had to pick a position group, what defines BYU and its football greatness?
You know what? I actually wouldn't even go with the linebackers. I think they're spectacular. I think they're going to be awesome. But I would say running back.
Really?
I think we're deep at running back. I think we got a couple guys that by themselves could be starters if it weren't for the other guy. I think there's three that could be that are starting quality Division I running backs. If they weren't all in the same backfield. And then as far as Jamal goes, who is a starter, I've said it before, he's my favorite player on the team, and it's not even close.
Why is that?
I just love the way he plays football. He hasn't even hit puberty yet. He's just a little kid. And
have you told him that?
I tell him that all the time, and I'm jealous of him because he's like 2% body fat, and he just eats garbage, and he just is just lean and strong, and I'm jealous of that because I just turned 30, so middle age is staring at me in the face. But Jamal, the thing that I like about him is he weighs like, what does he weigh, 205, 208, something like that?
Yeah.
But he doesn't know it. He thinks he weighs 235. And he plays like he weighs 235, and I just love it. I just love the way he attacks people. I love the way he doesn't run out of bounds. I love the way he finishes runs. He is not down till 3 seconds after the whistle's blown and the play is well beyond over. I just love the way he's just in my opinion, he is a true football player. He obviously loves the game and he just goes about it. And then on top of that, he's a great athlete, and I think he's going to play at the next level.
How much interaction do you have with the current BYU team and the players and coaches?
Not a ton, but I do have some. I try to go down there and run with those guys as much as I can, actually. And I'm here and there, and so I'm around, but not that much, not as much as I'd like to. I mean, I love being around those guys, and anytime I have a chance to be around them, I take advantage of it.
Bryan, the last time we talked to you, you and your wife were expecting like that day. We can hear, I assume, your oldest child, first child, in the background. Give us the status update there with the Kehl family.
No, yeah, it's my little boy. He's sitting on my lap right now. Bruce. He's just 2 months old. He had his 2-month checkup a couple days ago.
What percentage is he? Height and weight. Let's go.
He's 95th percentile in height.
Nice.
And he's literally off the charts in weight. He weighs 16 pounds 1 ounce, and he's just they don't even have that on the chart. So
wow, that's awesome.
He's a monster. He might be a sumo wrestler. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Linebacker, no linebacker. What's the deal with him?
No, if he plays football, I'm going to have him play quarterback because that's where those guys make money. We make money, but those guys make real money. So he's going to play quarterback.
There you go.
Very good. Well, congratulations on that. That's fantastic. Bryan Kehl joining us, BYU linebacker in 2002 and from 05 to 07. Bryan, you played on some great teams that won 11 games, that won bowl games, that finished the season ranked in the top 20, if not the top 15. I'm talking about 06 specifically. What is it going to take for BYU this year as an independent to finish top 15 like you guys did without being able to win a conference championship and whatnot?
It's just win games. If they win 10 games, they'll be up there, no question. There's nobody. There are no 10-win teams below the top 15 pretty much. So just go out there and win games, and they have a tough schedule, so it's not going to be easy. It's funny. I was arguing with some Ute fans over the weekend just about college football and about structure. And we both agreed that they've made progress in going to this 14 playoff. And I said it's not enough. and they were arguing, well, how can you do it? How can you implement a playoff? I was like, they already have it. They have it at every other level of college football, and it works. It works fine. It's worked for years. But anyway, you talk about those teams that I played on, and especially in 06. We were good. We were good in 07 too. Our offense wasn't quite as good. I think our defense was a little better in 07. But our offense in 06 was back. I mean, we were just a well-oiled machine, and we peaked. Our best game was our last game. We beat the brakes off of Oregon in the Vegas Bowl.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, they were a Hail Mary away in the second half from getting shut out by our defense, and we scored 38 points on them. I mean, we beat the brakes off of them, and I would have loved to seen what we could have done in a playoff, because we were just gelling at the right time. And I personally just think it's a shame that we weren't allowed that chance. Like every other sport, basketball, baseball, every other sport has a playoff. I just think it's a shame. That wasn't your question, but I figured I'd get on my soapbox for a minute.
If you need to feed your boy or give him a diaper change, you just let us know. Like, I get it. Like, if you have to go in the middle of this.
Well, it sounds like he's getting amped up about what you're saying.
Yeah.
So he
He
agrees.
Yeah, he is. He's already a Cougar fan, and he's mad too. I told him about it, and he didn't like it when I told him about it at that bedtime story. So.
He's fired up. You mentioned that BYU has a tough schedule. BYU has a chance to not play a ranked team. They could play. I mean, Texas could be ranked, Central Florida, Boise State. But it seems like BYU has more of an opportunity this season, Bryan, than last to get to 10 games. Take me into the mind of a player where you look at that schedule before the year, and then naturally I would think that you go, you know what, I think we can win X amount of games. How much does that happen?
Yeah, well, it just goes back to that whole preseason thing that I joked about at the beginning. Where teams are ranked at the beginning of the year, I mean, it really doesn't mean anything. Because, I mean, look at us in 06. I mean, we weren't ranked to start the season, and we finished, I think, 15. And then in 07, I think we finished 14, if my memory serves me correct. But anyway, I mean, we were a better team than the preseason rankings said. And so that, obviously, that you could go one way, and then there's always teams that go the other way that start ranked and then end up not being very good. So in terms of the preseason rankings, I mean, you really can't put that much weight into them. But when I look at the schedule, I just look at history. I look at athletes. I say, okay, well, these teams historically are good, and they historically have athletes, so it's going to be a tough challenge. And I don't know the mindset of those kids, but me personally, I look at every game and I say I can win that game. And you know what? If you don't have that mindset, you don't belong on the field. You can't go into a game saying, "Oh, I hope we can win. I hope if the stars align and the chips fall in our direction and the ball bounces, we can win." No, you can't have that mindset. You got to go into every game saying we can win this game if we execute, if we want it more, et cetera, et cetera. And I hope that's the mindset that they have.
Bryan Kehl with us on BYU Sports Nation. Standout BYU linebacker, played 6 seasons in the NFL. Speaking of mindset, Bryan, what is your mindset right now as your career develops and progresses? What are you up to right now?
Right. I told my wife the other day, I said, man, my career is on life support. NFL's a funny business. I tell people that you basically, if you get drafted, you basically have 1 year that you're fine, and then after that they're looking for your replacement, unless you're a first round pick. But other than first round picks, you get 1 year, and then they're looking for your replacement. And so they're always looking for younger, and so it's tough. My body feels great. My knee is sore. It's getting there. The rest of my body feels like $1 million. I think I could play for 4 or 5 more years, but I just need a chance. So we'll see. I don't get to decide that. I do get to decide how prepared I am for when I get that chance. So whenever a team calls me up for a workout, I'm going to be ready. They're going to be impressed.
Well, good luck with that. And as you have your second kid here, as you tell stories to your kids, how much better do you get in these stories as you tell them about your playing career?
Oh, I'm legendary in their eyes. Superman did nothing greater than their old man.
There you go.
That's fantastic. Hey, Bryan, it's great to talk to you again. Thanks for the insight into the BYU linebackers, and let's talk again soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Anytime.